a little bit awry, and some of the masterclass that came out from home and the crew there at setting that up. But as we move into game 2, we'll see if KT has a better read here, or if they will be potentially dethroned tonight. As yes, they will still technically be first place, but the momentum belongs to Hanwha if they're able to close this one out.
Ryze first ban. We didn't see that at all in game number 1. Makes sense. We've swapped first pick and second pick, and Orianna also going to be taken away. Maybe a little bit more focus on the mid lane now with still a lot left up. The Ryze, the Orianna, the Azir, even Anivia, Akali. Karma going to be banned again.
That makes a lot of sense. But interestingly, it's banned by the first pick team in Hanwha Life eSports. They could have looked to pick it up themselves, but that's not really how they roll. I like the supports that can't CC too much. I mean, Karma technically can, but it's not her big thing. All right, Bard's gone. So we're thinned out significantly here. The big Kanavi picks are still available, right? The Jarvan and the Xin that were banned by KT, which ultimately didn't work out for them last game around. Might be something that Kanavi's looking to first pick here. Varus. This is a lot of flexibility on this one for KTB. You can't ban both the Jarvan and the Xin, and you probably want the other one yourself, so
you still have to ban Rumble.
Rumble, I think, is probably the safest bet, unless they think they have an answer. As Rumble's win rate has taken a bit of a dip recently.
Yeah, it did lose in our first match of the day. But that one was a little bit lopsided with the teams we had going head-to-head. But still, Zeus going to get the respect with the Rumble ban.
Camera on Zeka, but I don't know if this is going to be a mid-pick angle. The Jarvan seems so obvious. I've seen so many fantastic games out of Kanavi on this pick. So, no Ryze for BDD. No Vi available. Does he just handshake Cuzz the Xin? I think that's the most likely outcome, but what is played alongside it, it's a little bit more interesting. And there's no Annie left, so there's no Annie Wukong. And they're just going to take the Lulu Yunara, it looks like here.
Yeah.
At least the Lulu side of things.
If you do take the Yunara now, it does mean that your jungler would have to be the pick for number 3, probably with the Nocturne.
Could be Nocturne now, and you could wait and see what you find in terms of what you want to play in the bottom lane, but this seems way smarter, just to make sure they can't deny it. The Jarvan is already showing. And it also gives you the opportunity for a strong counter pick for mid or top, if that becomes available, that you might want more than getting the Nocturne pick. The Sivir makes a ton of sense.
Sivir Yumi from Kuma Delight.
Could happen. Teasing a Senna pick, but I don't think it's going to come through. Well, I see which direction this is going. It's one that has given Valdes pause in the past, but it's not quite the Zeri lane anymore, but the same theme applies. Milio pick going to extend Lucian's range. And they will opt for the Xin over the Nocturne. I think it's because of the weakness that Nocturne has pre-6 and the power of the Jarvan. It's a tough early game matchup when you're already playing against one of the most aggressive bottom lanes in the game. I think this is the safer, more ideal setup. And now you can robustly set up, something like a Sion or in the top lane for perfect if you want to really all in on this Yunara late game scaling option, which I think is pretty wise. Maybe banned, of course, by Hanwha Life eSports.
I think Azir, another decent ban you could consider if you are HLE. I mean, BDD, very well known for his Azir. I feel like it goes well with the Yunara as kind of a 2-carry comp, and then you can just kind of plug and play whichever tank is left available.
Gnar makes me feel like they're thinking about a potential Renekton and Sion, like as their best ones. Obviously, they do two very different things, but the power of the Renekton can really give you a lot of freedom to send your jungler to the bottom lane. That Akali makes it looks like they might be considering the Azir themselves. Usually when there's an Akali ban and Zeka's on the field, it's a Sylas angle, but not necessarily here.
Yeah, I mean, KT have first pick out of this phase, and then they have the final counter pick, which is, you know, a lot of celebration from Wadid, as Azir actually just going to be banned. So it looks like they do not want to pick it up just yet. And maybe they want to get, you know, some kind of big blind pick for the top lane first and then counter for BDD.
I think Sion seems to be, to me, the smartest ban here for Hanwha Life eSports, but it's hard to cut through with Lucian. When you get super late, not necessarily the case, but is a lot of mid-game power for the Yunara. They take away BDD's Mel instead, which is one that layers a lot of late-game damage. Oh, BDD, I mean, they could still go Sion here and save that counter pick for BDD. Ooh, did not expect the Anivia.
Flex Anivia.
Flex, indeed.
We just saw it in the top lane last series. And now it's really up to HLE to have a rough time because you're essentially blind picking 2 roles, knowing that one of them will have to go into Anivia.
I think it's a smart move here in the draft for KT. But HLE could all in with a ranged top laner. As this, speaking of all in, I mean, doesn't get more dive than this. Okay. If you have a ranged top lane here, it doesn't matter if it's Anivia or Sion, you should be able to get prio. If it's the Sion or if it's the Anivia, you can go toe-to-toe and feel pretty good. This draft is so high in burst and engage, but is going to struggle in the late game into Yunara if they do not win the game early. But that is kind of the MO of HLE. They always win the game early, and they're not doing a whole lot of losing.
Jax.
Jax gives you a little bit of a side lane threat. Okay.
It's good into Zhao. It also hops over walls, but it's not played very often for a reason, especially when you might be playing into Anivia in the lane or something else.
The Renekton I was talking about coming through here. I think this is a lot of power in the mid game to set up this Yunara to excel in the late game. If I took the nameplates off, I would like KT's draft way more. It just has way more win conditions. It has so much support for the Zhao and the Renekton with the wild growth, while also then aiming very safe on this Yunara. But if I put the nameplates on, and I look at Zeus playing Jax for the first time in a while, Kanavi's on Jarvan, Zeka's playing Ahri, and it's an Ahri, Jarvan, Lucian comp. And it's Hanwha Life eSports playing it, the most aggressive early game team in the LCK. And I'm like, well, I don't care what's on the other side. I don't want to play against that. I have to once again give the edge to Hanwha Life eSports. Nameplates are important. We're looking at our best 2 teams here in the LCK. And Kanavi gets his favorite. Zeka gets one of his favorites. I mean, just the reasons stack up. I think there is a potential win here in the game for Perfect, right? Is Renekton has been very strong in the past. BDD's Anivia has some agency here, but it's all about aiming to that position to carry. And as far back as 2023, KT fans will tell you that makes them nervous. But there are definitely some angles here. Hanwha Life eSports, a 2-0 would change the LCK moving into round 2. They would also be on top.
It's a very interesting draft here in game number 2. And I think if somebody's going to make the HLE draft work, it's going to be them. So let's see how it works in game number 2. Alrighty, game number 2. We'll see if we get any early ganks in this one. We had a level 2 gank from Cuzz's Pantheon in the last game. Maybe it's Kanavi's turn to hop back on the aggression train.
Could be. Ward gets dropped. Chunk comes in. Yunara, a very, very powerful lane champion, even though... Yeah, well... We've seen this from Zeus before. Quite this aggressively, maybe not, but he is going to annoy Cuzz, and Perfect is like, okay, you dropping a wave for this? I guess so. He could TP, but he's just going to take the Raptors. Interesting.
Ever's taking some damage, but now Little lands, barriers get traded. You got to be so careful into this Lucian. As Zeus just drops a whole wave. Yep, just walks up here. He's like, well, I stopped Cuzz in his tracks. And putting the jungler behind can be very valuable, especially with all of the early game jungler pathing we've seen in this meta.
Absolutely. A perfect well level 2 here, but it doesn't necessarily matter because the wave is pushing into the turret, so there's nothing he can really do to pressure Zeus further. And, you know, with the waves running out, like, it's not like he's going to be getting a level 3 spike.
Guess who's bot again?
Yeah.
Sun going to land here on a Zeka. A couple autos would do it. BDD, though, not going to follow the flash. Effort already pretty low. And he's just going to die to the Milio, just like that. And now Kanavi comes in, forces the flash. The follow flash here from Kanavi, not so good. But they get the kill on Effort already.
All right, well, definitely not an equal trade on the opposite side here, with Perfect trying to get a plate in exchange, but he is trying to do his best. Like I said, level 3 gets hit, and it's not really going to feel too impactful in isolation. You mentioned it, the damage was already taken from Effort. Almost looked like KT were trying to bait for a jungler to come in, but they have full vision of where Cuzz is right now. It's a bit baffling, and a bit of an overstep there from Effort. He gets punished completely. A bit of a stat for you guys, as BDD almost got the solo kill onto Zeka a moment before. This is BDD's 20th game this season. He has lost 3. He has not played Anivia in this meta, in the mid lane, a single time. This is his first time playing it. There's something I had on my mind before I looked up the stat, because in my head I was like, I can't think of a single time he's played it this season. It's not a very BDD champ this time around, because you're sometimes more of a passenger as the Anivia. Sure, you can set things up with the wall, but BDD is the guy who pumps damage or makes like a hyper-aggressive play and is controlling team fights. And no Anivia just yet. I'm seeing it look really good in the start of this game, at least for him, though. Cuzz is here, walls up.
No flash here for Zeka. He's in a lot of trouble, especially with the Zhao right on top of him. Nothing that he can do. The charm comes in, but it's just helpless. BDD picks up the kill as well.
Like I said, you could be proactive with the wall. And that's what he does right after that. Zeus is going to hold firm here. This early game, explosive. Aiming is finally going to hit level 3 off of this wave.
Perfect knows his job. Up here, you do not want to let the Jacks have a comfortable time getting to a couple items. And Guma on the Lucian, making Effort feel it.
It's one of the more aggressive picks we've seen from Guma this season. Has often been a lot more utility and gets a lot of gold from the jungle attention. But this time around, he's the one who's setting it up. Bottom side had the early lead and is compounding it. You can see Perfect has got a massive CS lead because of the jungle attention for Kanavi on the bottom side. And Perfect's Renekton, I mentioned it, it's a thing to be feared. Crazy if you told me that, like, you know, a year and a half ago, I would laugh, but he is one of our best top laners now here in the LCK.
Yeah, how times change. We got to dive here in the bottom lane. This doesn't change for HLE. Aiming, no flash, and nowhere to go. Delight just going to tank it up, gets the heal and the shield to survive all the turret shots. And the kill also goes to Guma. That's the gold exactly where you want it.
And it's the start of the play being the super fire kick from Delight that hits first. If that doesn't hit, maybe that's enough time there for Aiming to deter the death, or to save himself, whatever way you want to put it, or trade one back, make them commit harder, but he does just go down without a hitch. And I kind of have to be honest with you, Valdes, if I look at a 20 CS lead for a Renekton or a 20 CS lead for a Lucian, I'm a little bit more worried about the Lucian with a composition like this. And so yes, KT have found some success with Perfect on the top side of the map, but feels like Cuzz has been largely absent here.
Yeah, feels like Zeus, you know, even what he did at level 1 to Cuzz, and the fact that he blind picked Jax, knowing that Renekton was available, I think he kind of just accepted his fate as, okay, I'm going to play weak side this game. You know, I'm not going to win this lane. It's just not going to happen. I can drop a wave. It doesn't really change anything.
This dragon is not guaranteed by any means, by the way. Not to change topics, but
Navi's coming over.
He's going to check with the Squire. Looks like there might just barely be enough time for a contest.
There's a lot of damage from this Lucian, who is right on top of Cuzz already, as there's the polymorph used early on, and in comes Zeka, level 6, and they get in there quickly. Takedown 2, and now BDD left by himself. They want to get this egg, and they should be able to. The egg, and probably the kill, as the 2 damage dealers are in here, and even Delight's going to help out. Picks up the kill, but it doesn't matter, as it's 5-1 already for HLE.
I don't want to be a doomer, but this game is looking pretty messed up for KT. I mean, the win cons are falling apart early. And Perfect continues to generate a lead, but again, what does that really mean when this Lucian is 1,000 gold ahead? BD's lost his egg. They lose the dragon. It is all HLE right now. As, you know, plays like this mean less and less the longer this game goes on.
Guma trying to hit 6 maybe off these minions? Nope. Just having a little bit of help from Delight as here's the fight again.
So initially here, it looks like, you know, with BDD coming over, maybe they can zone them out, but it's just too fast the way the Hanwha Life eSports play this. Effort dies, and then BDD sticks around too long because he knows he has his egg. He's like, okay, we're so close to being able to turn this fight around. This is where KT have looked strongest, on these skirmishes around Dragon, especially when they're the ones being the defenders. There was just too much HLE here, too fast. Aiming isn't able to join the play. Guma had prio the whole time. I mean, he straight up walked up to the Dragon and said, I don't think so. And I think it was a greedy play from KT, gets punished. BDD, an extra casualty on top of it all. I don't think he ever had on the cards, no matter what happens in that fight, that he loses his egg and dies, but he does at the end. As Perfect now has this wave away from the turret, but as you can see, his lead really doesn't mean that much.
Yeah, I mean, you can have a very tanky front line in, you know, Crescent Guard and a big Renekton, but the amount of damage that HLE have means that it doesn't really matter if they get far enough ahead. They can chew through that pretty easily, especially with, you know, Ahri to get in the Crescent Guard, Lucian to get in the Crescent Guard, like Cuzz, especially falling behind early, just means that maybe the Xin Zhao not going to have a lot of value as we hit a strong mid game for Hanwha Life eSports. Guma level 6 hasn't thrown out a culling yet, as the over-aggression from Effort is going to push them away, especially with Kanavi up here doing the grubs.
With Kanavi topside and with that play from Effort, especially the polymorph timing, I think they were pretty aware. As BD will get a nice trade here, at least for KT, but that's all they're really getting right now. Grubs go over without really a hitch. Guma, no mana.
So much for playing defensively, as Guma is going to have to flash away from that one. And, you know, a little kick away from Effort as well, just to push him out, and they get away scot-free.
Just nothing to come of it. And, I mean, yes, you lose your flash as Guma, but we're sitting on the Hanwha side, and I can tell you the place was erupting in applause just by his escape alone, because they got the grubs. You know, they got the top side objective. Guma's still massively ahead. No shutdown gold is going over to KT Rolster. And sure, you could have argued that they should have played a little bit safer there, should have backed away earlier, but they drew the jungle attention away. They got additional information, and because Guma has flash, he is Lucian, has a lot of mobility. And also, like you mentioned, the help of Delight's kick there.
Remember when Lucian had Gale Force, by the way?
Yeah, I try not to think about it.
Think about that every once in a while. I'm just like, man.
Remember when Lucian,
that was not fair.
He could play mid lane and he had Gale Force?
Yeah.
Showmaker remembers he was winning a lot.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of those really OP things get patched out pretty quickly.
Gale Force, not so much. It took like a whole year.
Yeah. And now Effort in a lot of trouble here, has his flash. They want to get it. Just not going to overcommit for it. Actually goes in on the Aiming, who he has to flash.
He didn't have ult, so he's just stuck in the Cataclysm. And Aiming just cannot get minions.
Bot lane just looks like a wash. Zeus in a lot of trouble up in the top side. All he has to do is try to survive, essentially. He lands that counter-strike and gets away.
Right when Perfect gets the empowered W, he's counter-striking, so he can't use it on the Jax. And so he just has to wait and watch his prey escape. And now Zeus is healed up enough. I think he should be fine here.
Yeah, it's a little bit thin, but here comes Guma. Once again, the culling's going to come out, pushes them far away. Even if you don't get a kill here, it's enough, because they just don't get to play the game.
Exactly.
Cuzz is doing the Krugs.
KT are just getting obliterated by HLE right now. And the second game does not look close. Gold, in terms of gold, like we've seen bigger leads at 10 minutes. But if you look at the game state, it is nasty, because that gold lead that Perfect has is basically fake. I mean, it's still relevant maybe if we get to a mid-game team fight where he's able to be large and get on top of a prio target. That's a big if. The Anivia is sitting on a Catalyst right now, and I don't know if Aiming's ever going to get a second item this game at the rate he's going. No farm, down 30 CS. And you need the Renekton to empower your AD carry, right? That's why the Renekton is good, because it can help set up Aiming to get an explosive mid-game where he can farm really well after having a rough laning phase, but not this rough, never this rough.
Yeah, this is kind of going a little bit far at this point. And of course, with the Dragon up, Cuzz is down here now, but so is Kanavi. Just makes it a 3v3 that should be favored towards Hanwha Life eSports, especially because that turret doesn't really have much of a leg to stand on either. Effort is level 5, which this is definitely a nice highlight. Might be able to hit level 6 on this minion? No. And they definitely want to get it for him here on the wave so that he's a champion.
I mean, he can't even like get XP from a ward to get 6. He needs the minion wave, and that minion wave is what HLE want to dive with. BDD needs to come down here, I think, honestly, and he's blocked by Zeka. Zeka's not allowing him to rotate over. As you can see, they're not going to commit further, but could have been bigger disaster. As again, Perfect has a lead. He can proxy minions. He has a 1,100 gold lead, but if you're using that to deny Jack's farm while your bottom lane is in tatters, I just don't call worth.
Guma going forward here to take out a ward. It might pay the iron price. Goes a little bit too close to the sun. And aiming gets the kill here, low on health, but that's an AD carry gone. Kanavi wants the kill, and aiming did not expect that. Down his flash. Just says, surely Kanavi doesn't gank me. He's always ganking
He's
you.
always going to go in on you there. But he wanted the wave because he's so far behind. He needs every piece of gold he can get. He may be called the Gold King, but in this game, he is the gold peon. He is so far behind that it just doesn't even feel like that kill is enough to turn the fortunes of KT in this game. A few more like that, and maybe we could talk, but he dies. He's off the map. He's not farming, and this Dragon is going to be a tough contest for KT. TP coming through from Perfect for the first time. He'll join a team fight.
Yeah, and Zeka going to be forcing the Spirit Rush here. Wants to do some more damage to Cuzz. But unfortunately, he doesn't have a smite. Kanavi going to go in and look for a 1 himself. He will be forced to flash away there as Perfect thought about it for just a moment. But instead, just walked away.
Zeus is
finally
chilling.
Gets some solo time.
Yeah, Zeus is like, I'm going to get some plate gold. I'm actually up here saying I'm not TPing in, I'm not opted in. I'll give you guys a Dragon to make a big hole in the deficit I had. And so even though KT get the Dragon, it just doesn't feel like that big of a win. Aiming needs money before we could talk about this composition working. He got the kill, but he wasn't able to get the minions afterwards. And this was a big overstep from Guma. Good sidestep here initially, but he goes down. Look at the margins on this too, by the way. Guma almost kills him.
Yeah.
And then from here, it's tough to make the call as aiming that you should back away because Jarvan's engage range is so huge. You're like, oh, I'm probably safe. I'll clear this. I need every piece of gold I can get in aiming's defense. But if he had just played insanely safe, sure, he gets away, but does it solve the problem? You know, that 1 kill is nowhere near enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. Maybe he's able to back and get there in time for the Dragon fight. I mean, they still get the Dragon. They're able to push them away in kind of the aftermath, but as you mentioned, you know, this Lucian problem still is not solved, and their Jack's problem that HLE had is somewhat solved. I mean, Zeus, he doesn't have to do anything crazy. He just needs to survive and get a couple items, you know, 2-3 items, and then eventually he'll win in this matchup, even if he is far behind. As everything's thrown into Guma here, but he's just fine. Kanavi is lurking in the enemy jungle. And that's what I'm looking at, is they want to take a fight here because also nearby.
Gotta be careful of aiming's flash. If he gets flashed on, Guma will have to respond because the wild growth would kill him.
Uh-oh. They're going to feel safe because Cuzz was right here.
Oh my god, Valdes, this trap.
He's still there, though. This could be a trap going the way of KT as they push forward, and that is the engage from the Lulu. Going forward is Amy. He picks up the kill, but is traded back. As Kanavi gets in with that engage range of the Jarvan.
And I don't know if Perfect wins these the way he was before. He's trying to look for an aggressive trade here. We'll have to opt out now. BDD is so far away from relevance. That Rod is going to finish at 25 minutes. We'll get a lot of value out of it then if they're still in the game. As he just hasn't really been a big factor here, unfortunately, for KT Rolster. I thought coming today could be the day we get the Miracle 6 game, or we haven't had one all season.
Yeah.
T1 easy 2-0, and now see if KT can fight the way back, because this Herald is surely lost. And Guma did flash out after getting hit by the wild growth there. Still was enough damage. Both kills aiming has gotten have been on the knife's edge, as Cuzz needs help here. But it's not going to matter too much. They do get away.
Yeah.
HLE do.
One of the best teams at using the Combat Herald is HLE. Kanavi is a big fan. Loves to do that, and so they pick that up just for combat value.
It's really, frankly, very lucky the timing of which aiming goes in here, the barrier trade, the wild growth combo, if he waits for just a second, like literally maybe less than a second longer before he goes on that, Kanavi springs the trap and they just won't be able to kill Guma. It's just not possible. Guma kills him first and they don't get anything. It's still just an even trade, which for KT, any money to aiming is what you need right now because he scales better, but I just don't know if we're ever getting to the point where he's actually going to get to 5v5 team fight in a fair scenario. Their mid turret is gone. No combat herald, but...
The combat, yeah, he's like, no, I'd rather just take a tier 1 at 17 minutes.
Okay.
I thought for sure he was going in on that, but would have been dangerous.
He is Jarvan, so he's like, look, I got flag and dragon, get out of there.
I'm gonna zoom in on a BDD. It looks like he was just ulting the top wave.
Yeah, BDD, we'll see you in 8 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the story for this comp for KT. They just need to hold on somehow, some way.
We've seen so many Anivias, you know, especially guys like Chovy, who were some of the first to pull it out, just have such a huge impact in the lane, and then also have such a huge impact even before Anivia got, you know, 2-3 items in those games, just by nature of having a big wall, being in the right place at the right time. But unfortunately in this one, BDD, after that 1 kill on the Zeka, has just kind of been farming in the side lane.
I had that really bad skirmish early on the Dragon, and that was what maybe what sealed their fate. And right now it looks that way. Still a little bit of League of Legends left to play in this one. Still a few angles for KT to get back in. But I mean, BDD, look at his items, does not have that much power just yet. Given a lot of time in a team fight, his ultimate can wear people down. He does have some burst. His walls could set up engages, but this is a Lulu comp. It's perfect. Is desperately trying to defend his turret. His reign in the top lane is over.
Yeah, the timer's up, like we talked about with the items. This is now looking for the engage as Kanavi. That was kind of messy, but just trying to keep him around. This now Cuzz trying to get away, but there it is. The Ahri goes into the Crescent Guard, takes him down immediately. As Perfect's going to get a back massage on the top side, but in goes Zeka looking for more. He's not going to get all too much as now Zeus says, I'll pick it up. 3-man counter-strike right into that back line. And that should be the end of aiming as this Jax goes so hard with just the 1 item. Zeus, what a day he's having today.
Yeah, all he had to do was chill for a bit, become relevant later. And we were talking about in the laning phase. What does it mean that Perfect has such a lead? It means very little for what he's able to do. Zeus shows up to a critical moment in this team fight, gets the flash counter-strike, and ends the game. He's like, what's up? Forgot about me, I think. And over here, initially, it looks like, okay, maybe Hanwha Life eSports are playing a little bit too aggressively around Kanavi when he has half health. But look who shows up, Zeka. And then the wild growth, this is so critical. The wild growth is used for no value, literally none. And then who doesn't have wild growth when the engage comes through? Aiming. There's no way to peel anymore, and then the Jax comes through and just sends him to the death chamber. Great kiting from aiming, gets the extra shield. If this were a more even game state, it could have been a different fight. But instead, it's just straight up the Jax reckoning as Zeus shows up and says, no conversation needed about best top laner in the LCK. Sup, it's me. 3 kills on the Jax. Turn that 1,000 gold deficit into a 1,400 gold lead.
Yeah.
And KT don't have a chance, it feels, in this game. They're going to see an aggressive TP to try to gank the turret.
Well, it's kind of crazy as well. We saw in the POV there of Zeus is the engage was just a snap call. You know, it wasn't like, oh, let's go in this one. Let's go for the turn. It's like, no, he just realized, oh, they don't have wall. The Anivia ult is in a bad spot. Aiming doesn't have wild growth. Like, I can just engage on this one. And that's really, you know, that snap decision that comes out from Zeus really proves just how good he is. And his Yorick was such a terror too. And now he's on the Jax after getting bullied all early game. Doesn't care. Comes in, wins the team fight for the team. And I like the Kanavi in the team fight as well, just playing with his life, baiting the Cuzz to go way too deep.
They TP BDD top to get a turret that had like 20% health, and then meanwhile HLE are like, okay, thanks for the TP, we'll also just get the entirety of this inner turret practically. Not an equivalent exchange here on the map for KT Rolster, find themselves 6,000 gold behind. And Guma is halfway to his 3rd item. You're gone.
Well, a lot of his health is gone. Guma is very alone. Yeah. And yeah, looks like KT as a team are trying to push for some vision. Definitely a good idea, especially from this far behind. But Kanavi's lurking. And now you can see that Hanwha Life eSports going into a bit of a 1-3-1. The Jax is winning, and the Ahri as well. You know, Zeka hasn't been the main character. He got a nice charm in the last one onto Cuzz for the kill secure. But yeah, just way too much map pressure with the Ahri now in a good spot and Zeus winning the side lane.
And look at the mini-map. The KT have to kind of huddle behind their inner turrets, what's left of them, as there's not one here, and in the mid lane, it's just a few more autos from Guma to get rid of it as well. 3 grubs also going to do a significant amount of work every time they do hit. BD's 3 minutes away from completing his Rod of Ages. He has his Seraphs, but what does it really mean at this stage when the Ahri is always going to be a threat, always going to be able to fish for charms? I think the wild growths need to be on aiming every time, like non-negotiable in this game, unless Guma makes a mistake and they can use it to try to kill him. Because if you do kill Guma at the beginning of the fight as KT, like we talked about this comp as a scaling comp, it's got Yunara, it's got Anivia, it does a lot of damage later on. If you can kill Guma, if you could set up like a pick comp, you can wall him, you can set up a wild growth combo, you could burst him with a Renekton. There isn't as much damage long-term in the late game here for Hanwha Life eSports, even 6,500 gold ahead. Like, the Ahri has great burst, the Jax can do a decent amount of damage, but if you isolate and kill the Lucian, very difficult because there's Mikhails, there's also... oh, okay.
I mean, he just saw him place a ward, so easy pickings for Zeka.
Yeah.
And Effort has not been having a very fun day today.
No.
The Nautilus was very rough playing into the Yorick and just not really doing anything outside of the level 2 gank assist in that first game. And now here on the Lulu, also not having a fun time with the wild growths or his life.
I just don't think they kill Guma with his ability to get Mikhails, with the Milio Mikhails on top of it. How can you punish him? He has such a long leash to play with. He doesn't have Gale Force, as you pointed out earlier, but it is pretty crazy what he can do. And yeah, it's just unfortunately for Effort here. He's on vision.
잡았어 얘.
I got him.
해볼만 하지 않나?
And looking forward here, next Dragon's in 40 seconds. Aiming nowhere near a third item. IE is almost done for Guma. It looks like he's grabbing it right now, actually.
Yeah.
In fact, right before the dragon spawns.
That's really good timing. I mean, this Lucian is gigantic, not to mention the Jax. And there's the Charm once again, just looking for picks here with the Ahri. Also very powerful when you have vision control, when you have map control. Now, Guma did back, so they're going to have to give up a little bit of that map control. But KT very desperate, kind of pulling at straws
TP
at
flank.
this point. Yeah, here comes the TP. The wall already used. Kanavi just flashes forward, says, I want to go in on this one. The disengage code gets him out. And now the knock-up here on Zeus is going to help. They isolate Kanavi, take him out, but I think the wallets might just be too big. They take out BDD. And Cuzz is just on the run, aiming very much isolated.
TP from Zeka to try to chase aiming down. It looks like aiming's going to get away. No flash.
Yeah, just got to land the charm, as aiming's doing a very good job of running away. But yes, they kind of get away, and actually, Effort's not going to get away. But it's another dragon that goes the way of Hanwha Life. And even Zeus is going to find Cuzz. And that'll be the end of him. So just another couple of kills to add insult to injury.
I want everyone to watch aiming in this fight because he played incredibly well. Imagine if they actually were not this far behind. Aiming is the prio target here for HLE. So look at him, hides away here. They get the polymorph, he goes over the wall to chase Kanavi. And then when Zeus gets on top of him, he gets wild growth, flashes over the wall and takes out Kanavi. Incredible play from him. The problem is that BDD is just a sitting duck. It's not, this terrifying ice bird. He's just a duck in this game. He dies, and the rest of the fight is lost, so he can't do anything. He's done as much as he could have there. He flashed, he handled the pressure well. The wallets are just too heavy. There's nothing he can do, and now HLE, 7,000 gold ahead, are going to burst down this Baron. And what little map control there is left to take will just be theirs. They are going to be able to push all 3 waves, or all 3 lanes, rather.
Yeah.
After picking up this dragon and start to threaten the inhibitors. And aiming is no closer to a third item here. I mean, he got his last whisper, so he's that much closer. But my point is, he doesn't have it. He's not even able to get close to an objective to fight. Only good news is they got that one Infernal Dragon, so this isn't Soul yet. And that's the only good news.
Yeah. Well, at least there's some for KT, but yeah, it just feels like Hanwha Life eSports, their play style, the way they played League of Legends, a lot of teams in the LCK even, they would draft a comp like this, and they would try to do what HLE did in this game, and most of the time fail. It just feels like Hanwha Life eSports with this very aggressive style where they know they got to get early wins into mid-game snowballs, and they do it so well. Just no team has really figured them out, even KT, who up until today were undefeated in series, and it's looking like Hanwha Life eSports should stroll to a victory unless something goes very, very wrong.
And I gotta say too, we haven't seen this look from Guma in a while. Like, it's a reminder that he can play these aggressive picks like the Lucian incredibly well. As you can see here, we just haven't seen him on picks like this because he's been a lot more utility. Zeka.
Oh, Zeka lands the charm, gets the McHale's. BDD just doesn't get to play the game. Perfect's like, maybe I can pull the minions out of the wave. Maybe that'll help. And it kind of does. He's going to lock down Zeus here, and now in a bit of trouble, but he goes golden amongst it all. And now we got Kanavi jumping into that backline immediately just to die, but Perfect will fall as well. And Guma is untouched in the fight. Everything used, it feels like, by KT already.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to lose this inhibitor in mid for sure. Top inhibitor, a little bit tougher to take here for Hanwha Life eSports, but they push the gold lead to 10,000. And aiming doesn't have his ultimate anymore. Team fighting without him, gonna be tricky.
Well, not sure about that one. Guma goes a bit over aggressive and loses his life trying to take out BDD. You gotta be careful doing that into a Lulu.
Sure, they get the turret. I don't think he should have been playing up like that. Well, they get the turret because of it, and that means that inhibitor is open for the taking later. There's a lot of wave clear with this Anivia here for KT to try to buy time. Just hang on by a thread. For Hanwha Life eSports, maybe losing a little bit more than 2 members on a push like this to maybe get themselves back into the game, because there's so much standing gold on the map that aiming can explode. He's also only 1,000 gold behind individually, actually. His deficit isn't as high as it used to be. As the initial play here on the Zeus is well played, they get the wild growth, which means they don't have it defensively anymore, but they have, you know, the protection of their base here. Kanavi goes in a bit too deep here without any resources. Guma drops his culling to really no avail here, and then wants to push the envelope a little bit further, as you'll see in a moment here after the inhibitor, which is ultimately his demise as well. BDD is at half health. He dashes forward here, gets walled out, gets stunned immediately. Great response here from the side of KT. But again, it's going to take a lot of these. I suppose there is a world, right? There is a world where they are able to defend and do what T1 did to them last year, right? Like, I guess it could happen. Or was that even this year?
I think it was LCK Cup.
It was
right?
LCK Cup. It feels like it's so long ago.
Yeah.
But it's going to take some time. It's going to take a lot of time. But I suppose if Hanwha Life eSports' overextension tendencies go really off the wall, maybe you could do it. And KT aren't going to give up until that Nexus falls. Yeah,
it feels like Hanwha Life eSports have been balanced enough today. You know, they've been doing some crazy things like Kanavi going way too deep on that last fight, or Guma going for the kill on the BDD. Stuff that they don't necessarily have to do that could lead to, you know, ending the game earlier. But for this one, I feel like pretty much any of our teams can kind of, you know, check the boxes on this one. All they have to do, maintain map control, and take the Mountain Soul. And from there, I don't know what you do. But instead, Zeus and Kanavi gonna go together and run into the enemy team and nearly die, as there is Zeus getting a lot of healing, and Cuzz going over the wall. It's gonna pay for it immediately, but now aiming comes on in. The knockup comes in from Kanavi, but the kiting is huge for aiming. He stays alive amongst all of those threats. In goes Zeka trying to get this Yunara, and they finally do. And I think the only reason why HLE win that fight is because they're 10,000 gold ahead. Otherwise, very messy, but might end the game anyway.
I think they will. Zeka has TP. This is going to send it straight back to the mid lane after getting full health. A ceremonial TP as the Anivia wave clear is good, but not good enough. He's trying his best here. He has Egg, but he needs 25 more seconds. I just don't think he's going to get it.
No stun to hit Guma, and he is going to live with that shield, and the Nexus is open and ready for the taking. HLE just playing with their food, but it's still a clean 2-0 from Hanwha Life eSports over KT Rolster, as they will secure first place in the LCK.
They secure first place with this 2-0 alongside that of KT Rolster.